have you heard of ShapeShift?
ShapeShift.
Yeah, and in particular, the guy who created it, called Erik Vorhees. No. So he's a OG Bitcoiner. He was speaking at the Bitcoin conferences in 2011, 2013. Okay. He used to be a maximalist and then started to play around with Ethereum and sort of saw the light in a way and was like, oh, yes, Bitcoin is the only one which is really sound money. Like, that's what it does. That is amazing. But these other ones can do some really cool stuff in the decentralized finance or decentralized identity. Like, there's value in them, not of them particularly being money, but what they can add, I guess, like what they can do and impact in the real world. And he's got a pretty cool story about how he has all this Bitcoin from back in the OG days, didn't want to create a tax event, and so sort of like converted that to USDC, took out like a collateral loan on that, and then was able to buy a house without actually having to sell anything. He was just using all of these DeFi protocols. I was just like, damn, that's pretty, like, that's a real life thing. Buying a house without having to pay a shit ton of tax.
Yeah. I'm sure the IRS is going to be looking and see how they might try to get him. Interesting,
yeah. They're always looking out for those things. Anyway, he had this company called ShapeShift, which was essentially it was a centralized exchange, but it wasn't a centralized exchange. They were basically like, you send in your coin and we will never hold it. You will get back what you're trying to buy instantly. So if you want to...
okay, gotcha.
It's so close to
almost like an
a
intermediary type of deal. Okay.
A little bit like that. But he was finding that he was going through all these regulations. They had to start implementing KYC, otherwise they were going to get just regulated out of existence. And the company was taking like a real bad turn for it. They lost, he said, 99% of their custemers when they started doing KYC.
Oh, of course, everyone who was doing it was basically trying to do it to get away from the taxation events.
Exactly. Yeah. So they went down this path for I think a year or two and was like, this is unsustainable. I can't. It goes against everything that I care about, essentially. Yep. Like, he was, he's an OG Bitcoiner, so he's thinking about these things a long time ago. And he basically converted his company into a DAO, which I thought was pretty cool. So he managed to convince the board, like, hey, everything that is in our company structure, I want to convert this into something that's decentralized, where there's governance from our actual like shareholders, which are now going to become token holders. Yep. So I think they've got like the Fox token, and they went through this whole process of basically trying to get his company so that there's no place where the US regulatory commission or whatever can send an email, because it's like, or a letter, because it's like, we don't own it. Like, no one owns this thing. It's up to everyone. There's no point sending a little letter to me. I have a little bit of control over the system, but
not all
but
of it.
I can't dictate what's going to happen.